This is the place I work at. This is my studio that I have been using for the two last years. This is a picture on my screen that shows the date of Wednesday, April 19th, which is one day after my birthday, the day I received a package with a Samsung SSD drive that my brother gave me for my birthday. It's a new type of hard drive that makes your computer go a bit faster. So for next time I can add more special effects to these presentations. On the table there's a Los Angeles Lakers lunchbox and it's insulated. Next to it there's a dark hand. It's meant to carry jewelry, but I prefer it without. On the table there's a Tupperware with two nails sitting on it. On the corner of the table there's a apple that my teacher Ruth left the other day. Since then I ate it. It was really good. There's a clock that doesn't really function and I don't care because my phone and my computer already tells me the time. Next to it there's a cap with a little bit foil on it. Next to it there's a dried sponge with pink paint and it's hard. Under it there's a note with a website written on it. It's a website that Marwan, my colleague, wrote down for me, and it's a link to a website that is used to stream movies full length. Next to it there's a box with tools inside. It's purchased from the middle section of the Lidl supermarket. It's a section in the supermarket that you can't really predict or know what you will find in it without going inside. And you can find all sorts of things like these boots for 10 euros. This is a woman shaking a man's hand, and it's in the cover of my homework for the physiotherapy. You have all sorts of exercises that you can do standing up or sitting on a chair. This is a sauce that has been sitting under my screen. The other day I was curious to Google this word and I regret it. Next to it is a little bit of plastic, a piece of plastic that belongs to a bigger piece of plastic that I laser cut. On the wall there's a sign of a toilet that I found in the street and I find it beautiful. Next to it there's a rosary with 33 beads. On the wall there's a thing I found before coming to my studio. It was already there, and when you pull it down, a rope gets pulled down as well and makes another plastic box swing next to a light sensor, and this allows you to activate the light when they turn automatically off. It's made by Dragan. On the wall there's a picture of Lee, Kevin, Kimball, and Taiping. Next to it there's another one with Kim and Luca sleeping, and myself. Next to it there's a little painting I made, a gouache, of one of my favorite videos online. It's a sheep that got stuck in a cable and got saved eventually some point. Next to it there's another painting I made of another thing I really like. On the wall I screwed a plastic box with a mirror that can swing. It belongs to not a box that I bought from a second-hand shop. It's a Samsonite that you can't really lock because I don't know the password of it. This is men's sensitive facial wipes, and I bought it not to wipe my face, but because of this familiar logo on it. Unfortunately, it doesn't work the same way. On the table there's double-sided USB stick with one side that is used for computers and the other for phones. It's sitting on a piece of paper where I drew a double-sided face, more known as a Janus face. Next to those, there's another double-sided thing, audio splitter that permits you to get two signals from the same phone. On the closet, on the top shelf, there's a Memory Plus 309 DP, and I got it for my grandma because she can't really read or write. She's quite old, and so she can dial family members or whoever she wants thanks to these big buttons. You can put pictures under them. On the corner, there's a wallet where I keep all my cards. This is my Moroccan ID. My first train card, my first train ticket from Utrecht to Groningen, my expired Spanish ID, and my driving license. Next to it is my precious hard drive. So precious that I made a wooden case for it. Under it there's a teddy bear made by Andrea. She made it from a sock. On our left of the studio there's a corner with elastic band sitting on a fork. It has been there for months. A little bit further there's my bike with a seat that is made of seat I ordered online that broke, plus some tape and a little bit of sponge. On it sits a bit of fur that I found in the street. I wanted to be sure if it's fur or synthetic, so I burnt it. And burning it, I could smell a very familiar smell of I think that you might see a couple of days in the year during some special celebrations in the street of Casablanca. And that's where my grandmother lives. Looking in the floor, we can find a sandal that I got from a market in the north of Morocco. And I bought that exact same one, but I was a bit disappointed because right before it I could find a person that was wearing this fantastic sandal with a Wi-Fi sign on it. Right next to it there's I think that has been laying there for various months till recently when Marwan claimed it. So please come pick it up later. On the corner there's a tea I made with ginger and it's a bit old. I cleaned it since it's all fine now. On the last corner of the studio you can find a piece of paper where I wrote a poetry by a poet that I like. Juan Ramon Jimenez is a Spanish poet and writer. He was born in 1881 in the province of Huelva, in a city called Moguer in the south of Spain, in Andalusia. He had he went through tough episodes in his life. The death of his father devastated him. His family went bankrupt. He was he had to enter various times clinics and sanatoriums for his various depressions in south of France, Miami, Madrid. He was known for being very very sensitive to his surroundings and kind of a sweet person, but also there were some reports saying that he was also sexually harassing his nurses while he was in the hospital. But anyways, he's an important person in the Spanish literature. He's especially known for his book called Platero Yo, his prose, and it narrates his friendship with a donkey called Platero, who's a fluffy, sweet, as he describes it, as a so soft that he seems boneless, white as the snow, a very sweet, sweet donkey. I did some research and I found the Samorano Leonese donkey. It's kind of fluffy with his ears pointing to the front for some reason. And this is a Moroccan donkey with a shorter hair, his ears sticking to the back. According to the farmers, he's a little bit more stubborn and with a nice dark outline around the eyes. It's cute. So until 2007, the population of donkeys in Morocco was 1 million. So there was 1 million donkeys in Morocco, and it was the main exporter of donkeys in Europe. Until in 2007, Europe decided to stop the importations due to epidemic disease. So for health reasons, they stopped importing them. So since then, the Ministry of Agriculture does these festivals for donkeys to promote the breeding of this race and to keep it going. So this is Marbouh, the donkey of the year, the most beautiful donkey of that same year on the festival of Beni Ammar Zarhon. On the second position, there was a donkey called Shahrukh, and in the third, Cristiano Ronaldo. I couldn't find the pictures of the donkeys. Juan Ramon Jimenez was also he was exiled in 1946 after the start of the civil war in Spain, and he had to flee, fly, escape to Puerto Rico with his wife Zenobia Camprobi. And one of the things that are named after him, because he was teaching there, is Jimenez Hall in the University of Maryland. There's another thing that is also called after him, which is the Instituto Juan Ramon Jimenez in Casablanca in Morocco, and this is the high school I went to. I remember, I remember this fence, this metallic fence that was more or less 50 centimeters high, a little bit less, made of these metallic arches. This is a top view. It wasn't thick, it was really thin. There was a lot of space to sit in, but some reason we would sit there. And it was mainly and mostly because behind us there was all these palm trees, all beautiful palm trees everywhere, different palm trees, Californian, gray. Behind us there would be this old grumpy man. This is how we would picture him, as a angry kind of monstrous gardener. I don't know if it's really like that or it's just my imagination, but we would just be mean for no reason to him. He would be mumbling stuff we won't really understand. We would just throw nuts or whatever we find at him and run away for some reason. We were kind of vicious. And through the window, I would look at these palm trees, and one of the first thing you would learn is at school is the seasons of the year, the 4 seasons. So in summer it would be sunny. In autumn the leaves would fall down, and in winter it will snow. This is what you learn. But again, the teacher, all that didn't really make sense. I mean, you would see what's going on through the window, and it didn't really make sense. But thinking about Juan Ramon Jimenez again, I thought that it's a beautiful image to portray Platero as this soft, fluffy, flake, white donkey. As he would call it, pure poetry is a term he coined. So one day when I left school and I was going to the gym, I did this exact same path in red you can see here, and I was trying to call my mom on the phone and I couldn't find my phone, as you can see here. So I was trying to remember what happened because I only went from school, I had my phone, to the gym walking, so something in that way must have happened. In this case, at that exact same point where the red arrow points on, something not usual happened. So I was walking, and this man dropped his keys as I was walking towards him. And I turned around and he would start talking about chicken and roast chicken and mentioning food over and over, waffles, sweet things, cream, chocolate, pizzas. I don't really remember what he was saying, but he kept talking about food and food and water, a lot of water. He started mentioning and talking about water, a lot of water, and back to the chocolate. He was talking, and didn't really make sense, but I could assure you that I heard a big bottle of water. This is something I keep in my head, and I was sure he said that. So what was all of this about? This man must be a bit crazy. Just like turn around and leave. But there was a thing that was also not usual is that that day I was fasting and I was thirsty. I definitely wanted a really big bottle of water. This is something I wanted. Somehow he kind of pointed that weakness I was fragile to just do something else. But I wasn't sure it was him that took my phone until seeing him jumping on a motorbike that was waiting for him right next to it. You don't have someone waiting for you after you drop your keys. It was just suspicious. So he jumped on that bike and left, and I don't have my phone. And then I started to think about the what he was wearing. He was wearing his outfit, and this is a outfit that I could see traveling around. It's a recurrent thing in Europe, even in the US, Spain, Germany, here in the Netherlands. This is a local example of a style that could be very similar to that guy that took my phone. It's a style that is associated with people that have liberal jobs, but other liberal jobs, not doctor, not graphic designer, or any other things. They are doing other things, just jobs like pickpocket, for example. And it's a style you would see around the world. There's different names, but it's a recurrent thing. So I started to dive into this, and I could extract four points. So definitely the comfort is a characteristic. This is an example of a mobster, Tony Sirico in The Sopranos, always with his tracksuit, comfortable. This is a more contemporary example with Jeffrey Lamar Williams teaming up with Puma in this nice velvety tracksuit. This is a local hip hop artist called Seven Alias from Amsterdam, all with his crew dressing comfortably so they can do this kind of acrobatics. You need some flexibility in order to do these jumps from to motorbikes to run away, be able to not be somewhere in a quick way. Soccer is another highlight of this style, and it's because it's an accessible sport. All you need is a ground and a sphere. That's some sort of sphere. Wealth is another topic. You see on the left Migos, who is a hip hop trio from Atlanta, that kind of referring to this kind of art that survived time, imitating a Van Dyck painting. They refer to something that survived time. It's not a it's something that is sure. It's not something wobbly from nowadays or like the close past, but something that really survived time. I was surprised to see last year there was a football game at the Raja Football Club of Casablanca, and it was really surprising to see how close it was to a Caravaggio painting. So this kind of style is kind of expensive. It's brands. This picture probably was taken in Liverpool, and this style also comes from an event that happened in 1977, where the Liverpool club confronted Saint Etienne Football Club during the quarter-finals of the European Cup. So after being defeated and furious, they went to the streets and looted luxury shops and brands they probably didn't hear of before. and they brought all these brands back to the UK, bringing these strange clothes that they were at that time, crossing borders but also social classes. We see here the rapper Slick Rick wearing all this jewelry, and it reminded me of a Amazigh, a Berber bride that would carry their wealth with them. This is a characteristic of nomadic or almost nomadic cultures. Original is an important point, is the last one, and in this case, original refers to the genuine, classic, the roots, things that have a sense of belonging. So you'd see Reebok Classic, Adidas Originals. There's this thrive to come from somewhere. You see on the left the rapper Rimka having this kind of Tuareg dress, even though he has nothing to do with it. On his cover album in 2004, on the left wearing a northern African dress, and under you see Sefiu having this Senegalese flag t-shirt on him, filmed in Senegal as well. More recent example in 2016 with the rapper Bouf, who has Moroccan origins, but he grew up in France and the Netherlands, on his video clip showing these flags. Not only national flags, but also other kinds of flags, like the Amazigh flag, who is not, it's not a state, but is a group of people. And when you see this kind of culture, where it grows, where it grew up and came from, usually in the outskirts of big cities like Paris, with people coming from everywhere, but also born there, but with different origins, then a creative search for identification signs is unlocked, and these people are seen as a threat because of their permanent state of migrancy or potential migrancy. You might move at any time, and it's usually a threat to the institutions or the state, because you move in a lateral way. So nomadism involves the practice of movement across territories. It operates as a lateral resistance across borders, defying hegemonic control. And for example, terrorism operates through transnational networks, and it is an extreme example of this kind of migrancy, for example. Any kind of transnational migrancy is not usually welcome. Just think of the gypsy communities in Europe, for example. So, looking at all this popular culture, there's a thing that keeps coming again and again, and if you notice, it's the shoe. And at this point, I think it's important to mention the Nike Air Max shoe. I think that is an example that brings together comfort, soccer. It's wealth. It's not a cheap model, and it's original. It's a model that has been there for a long time. This is Korea market in Casablanca in 2013. A picture I took, and they would only sell Air Max, just different colors, just different colors, but a lot, and it was the main shoe that was sold. And I find it beautiful to see how big artists like the one on the left, Kanye West, wear Air Max, just like people in the streets of Paris or wherever, or in Amsterdam or Rotterdam. It's beautiful to see these things crossing people with different wealth. Just like the leopard print. The leopard print is a pattern that crosses hipsters, stars, and chavs. It's a beautiful thing that it acts as a common denominator. It's a common Sing a song. I couldn't find my phone the other day. I wanna call my mom, but my phone down.